What's up guys, this is Juan Dingo and I'm just making a short video to share with you guys my thoughts on 2013's E3. And first off, it was a very exciting year. I mean, it's the year of two next generation console releases. So yeah, it's a very exciting year, and some of the games I was just blown away with. Like, the first one I'm going to talk about is Killer Instinct. Okay, so I've been keeping in this girlish cheer probably for over 15 years, waiting for the moment I see that Killer Instinct is back. Okay, and when I seen that KI in the press conference for Microsoft, yeah, that cheer came out, and it was pretty girly, I'm not gonna lie, because I've been waiting so long for that game to come out. It's just like in my dreams sometimes, like that's how much I've been anticipating that game. So my thoughts on it, like, yeah, when I seen the KI and I heard that music coming, it was just like unreal for me. And then I seen the gameplay, and it's not what I expected really, but like it's kind of a little toon shaded, a little bit cell shaded, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a mix between photorealistic and kind of cell shaded, but I would imagine that it was because back in the day the Killer Instincts were known for their kind of like realistic looking characters, and this kind of takes on the look of something a little different, but I don't really hold anything against it for that. For me, it's mostly about the gameplay, how the characters work, which for what I've seen, they've really innovated on the combo system, upgraded it a lot. I'm showing some gameplay right here of Jago and Saberwolf. As you can see, that you can see what I'm talking about with the graphics, but the gameplay looks really good. The next game that I seen that was really interesting to me is because I'm a huge car guy, so the game called The Crew, and I'll pull up some gameplay for you guys. It's like an open world driving game, but it's mapped out like it's the whole United States. It's not like a super realistic, Google Maps, every street is mapped out. You can't drive exactly around your town, anything like that. Like, it's pretty obvious that the mapping is kind of scaled down. It's just the map is in the shape of the United States, and it has the various, big cities from the United States. But yeah, the gameplay looks really good, and I can't wait to see how deep you can go into the customization. I'm probably going to be a street guy myself, but that looks like it's going to be a great game because you can, I mean, sometimes maybe I want to take a Ferrari or a Lamborghini on the streets and then own the streets, and then maybe I want to, take a truck that I've gotten and then just race on dirt roads, stuff like that. It just looks like a really diverse game. Alright, so the next game I'm going to talk about is Elder Scrolls Online. This wasn't really an announcement for the game. It was more of an announcement that the game is going to be on the consoles at launch, which is really big news for me because I wasn't planning on getting the game unless it launched on consoles. I mean, it looks really good. Even like on PC, it looks amazing, but I knew they weren't going to be able to put it out on the current gen consoles, so there was always that hope. And they kind of, they didn't really talk much when they were asked about next gen consoles and how its release date lined up with them, but they pretty much came out and said, yeah, it's coming out on the next gen consoles. They showed it off at on the PS4 or the Sony press conference during the PS4 section of it, and said, yeah, PS is coming out on the PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Plus members will have like exclusive beta access first, which is good news for me. I have PlayStation Plus, but I don't really play my PlayStation at all. I just when like I want to support that the PlayStation Plus, so I just like that's the only way I can show my support is to pay for it. So um, yeah, next up is the game Destiny, which is coming from Bungie and Activision, which is, if you're a first person shooter fan, you know exactly who Bungie is and you know exactly who Activision is, or, Infinity Wards or Treyarch or whatever. But this game is coming from a publisher, Activision, that is known for putting out really good first person shooters, and then from a developer, which is Bungie Studios, that is well known for the Halo series, which is a pretty solid series by anyone's standards. And they showed a gameplay walkthrough on the Sony press conference at the end, and I got to be honest, that walkthrough really, it didn't show. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it just seems like another first-person shooter." It didn't seem like it had that thing that made you like think you had to have that game, but really it was like a 10-minute demo. They're not going to be able to show you like in depth why you need that game with 10 minutes. So but what the visuals look amazing, the gameplay looks solid. I like how you can just connect with, you can just join groups and have like big events and just join in and just help your buddies and maybe meet new people, helping them out, stuff like that. So that game looks really good to me. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is what a lot of people are calling the console wars. It's pretty much PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One, and I don't know. So far, I think eventually I'll have both of the systems, and that's like I cringe when I say that, but I know it's going to happen. And the reason why I cringe is because I don't want to support what Microsoft is doing with the Xbox One. Like, for most people, it's not a big deal. Most people have that modern living room that Microsoft is aiming for with the Xbox One. But then again, a lot of people that have that modern living room still don't agree with what they're doing, and I'm one of them. And the always on is, it's not a big deal if you have great internet, but not all of the United States or other parts of the country have amazing internet to stay connected. And I know that they're going to be coming out with great games for the Xbox One, just like Killer Instinct. I think eventually I'm just going to break down and just have to have that game because I've been waiting for it for, over a decade, closer to 2 decades. And I just don't quite agree with where they're taking video games. Like, I don't know, I just don't agree with it, but it's going to be hard not to buy one. I'm not going to lie, I'll probably end up buying one, and then when something happens with my internet, then I won't be able to play anything. I'll have to watch a movie or something. But the thing is what happens when their service goes down? That's the thing you have to ask yourself is, yeah, like if your internet goes down or something's wrong with your internet, you can't play your console that you just paid $500 for. But also, look at most of the releases that have like DRM and stuff. Those launches weren't good at all. SimCity, Diablo 3, I'm talking about those two mainly. What happens when the Xbox One releases and their service just like has a hard time staying up, and you can't play your console you just bought because their service is down? But anyway, let me get into this. I'm just gonna compare the two for you guys and then let you guys know how I feel about them. Alright, so they're both going to have, for the processors, they're both going to have the x86 infrastructure for the processors, which is, they're going to have like really similar infrastructures, which is going to be great because we're not really used to that, because for the last 7 years we've had two consoles out at the same time, like neck and neck. But the thing is the infrastructures were completely different. One was cell processing, the other one wasn't. And I think what we're going to see with them being so similar to each other is we're going to see like games are going to be very similar between the two when they're being ported. But not only that, we're going to see probably development times cut down, because I know they don't want, like this generation, no one wants to release something for the Xbox 360 and then wait and then release the PS3 version of the game when it's done. So because I know it takes a little longer to port it to the PS3. So that, I think that had a lot to do with like delays and stuff like that. But I think development time is going to be cut down a little bit because these infrastructures are so similar. And next, the speed of the processors. I don't know what they're doing with these speeds. They're both around 1.5 teraflops, and I have no idea what a flop is, much less a teraflop. But I know a tera is like 1 trillion bytes, I'm pretty sure. So you're going to get 1 trillion flops. I don't know, whatever. But the PS4 is going to be coming in a little, probably, I'd say like 20 to 30% more. The processor is going to be a little more faster. But I've heard rumors of Microsoft like not putting their processors overclocked or anything, and then later on that gives them room to like overclock them later. And I also heard another rumor that they're going to charge for that, which as like an upgrade package, which is going to be ridiculous if they try to charge for that. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be that surprised. Next is the RAM differences. Okay, so a lot of people think it's like the PS4 and the Xbox One has exactly 8 gigs of RAM, but the PS4 has like way faster RAM. That's actually not the case. The PS4 actually has a bigger advantage than just faster RAM, because how the Xbox One's RAM works is because there's 2 operating systems inside the Xbox One. One is for the games, and then the other one is for like the dashboard and the switching from TV and all that stuff. So, and the dashboard and everything for the PS4 share the same RAM memory, the DDR5. So PlayStation 4 will have 8 gigs of shared DDR5 RAM, and then the Xbox One will have 5 gigs of DDR3 for the games and 3 gigs of DDR3 for the other operating system. So the PS4 has a bit of an advantage there, but I think that's going to really show in your first party exclusive kind of games, because for the most part they're just going to develop, like third party developers are going to develop their game and then pretty much just port them exactly the same. I can see that happening, even though I'd like to think they would ramp up the draw distance and the AI capabilities because of the higher RAM memory for the PlayStation 4, but I can easily see them just releasing a port, the exact identical game on both systems. But yeah, so the PlayStation 4 has a bit bigger of an advantage than you might think in the RAM memory. Okay, and the networking differences is that basically you can play a PlayStation 4 without internet at all. Not a lot, even people who don't agree with what Microsoft is doing is gonna be having their PlayStation 4s hooked up to the internet anyway. I think a lot of people are just like me and don't really agree with like where they're trying to take gaming, which I don't think a lot of people are looking at the future, like the consequences of what Microsoft is doing for gaming in general. So the PlayStation 4, you can not have any internet, you'll be fine, you can play your games. But the Xbox One, on the other hand, has to be connected to the internet once every 24 hours. And then I know they're putting a lot of work into like going over to a friend's house, and like today you go to a friend's house, you have to download your profile, it takes forever. I think they're working really hard on trying to make that a lot more easier. That way you just go to your friend's house and it's like you add your gamer tag and you're just playing on yours, on your gamer tag. But the thing is if you're playing on someone else's console other than your own, it actually has to check in once an hour, which is, if you're going to be connected, you're going to be connected. Like if it has to check in even 24 hours, once every 24 hours, it's still always on, because it's not like you're going to if people don't have internet, then they just don't have internet. So it doesn't really mean that much. And then used games, you pretty much know the whole thing. Microsoft with the Xbox One is kind of trying to innovate some crap, like some new stuff with used games, to where like a GameStop or whatever will have a system where it can tell if the license is active on your disc that you're trying to sell. Basically, I think that if everyone jumped on board with Microsoft and everyone was like, yeah, always connected, we love it, woo, and then everyone jumped on board, I think like futuristic gaming would be, okay, you buy a system, you get an implant in your wrist that tells them when you have license rights for a game you've already paid full price for. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I know that's like completely far-fetched, but it won't be far-fetched when we're actually looking at that in the face in like 5-10 years down the road. Like, I think 10 years from now we would think that what Microsoft is trying to pull would be pretty far-fetched and ridiculous too. So but PS4 has come out and said they're pro like buyers' rights, because they're like, yeah, when you buy a disc, that's your disc, do whatever you want with it, resell it, let your buddy borrow it for a weekend, give it to your buddy, trade them with your buddies. Like, they just want you to, or they want to let you do whatever you want with it. So that has a lot of people's positive attention for the PS4 when it comes to used games. But yeah, when it comes to my final thoughts, like I said, I probably will end up getting an Xbox One, but it probably won't be for a while. I'll admit I'm gonna get a PS4 as soon as I can when it comes out. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on E3. I know what is this like? It's probably going to be almost a 20-minute video, but most of you guys probably already ended the video. But I want to thank you guys for sticking around, and let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'd love to kind of chat with you guys, and until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.